Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Javier in the Air. So I'm trying out some different things in the beginning, and let me know what you think about the new opening. I have a couple of different ones, but this is the new one I just tried out. As I'm using my editing software, I get more updates, and so this has been one that just popped in today, or at least a helpful reminder popped up today, so I was able to throw it together real quick. So let me know what you think on any comments or any way you know how to reach me. So welcome. I want to apologize for last week. I normally run through at least a couple of the first seconds of every video that I do, and obviously I did not do it for that section that lost the audio. So what's happening is that I know y'all really don't want to know, but what's happening is that um, I have three options for audio. There's an audio built into this little tiny camera I have, which is horrible and picks up nothing, or what you heard, because I'm so far away it can't pick up my voice without yelling, even though I have it turned up all the way. I have one built into my laptop, which is okay, but it's not great and it's not unidirectional like this thing is. And then I have this one. So I have to remember each and every time when I record from this laptop using this software that I have to choose this option and not any of the other two, because you won't really hear me. So apologize for that. Okay, so new week, new episode, new stuff to put out there. So I put out there my walking the hood. So the trashy hood pickup. I hate to say trashy hood because I live in the hood and I don't mean to insult anybody by that. And if you're insulted by me calling it the hood, I'm not that bothered by it. So because I live in it. All right, so this week was kind of a mishmash. I was going mostly at night, but then Friday I was working from home, so I was able to go first thing in the morning. Next week I'll be working from home as well, so I will be doing early morning, so you can tell that my pictures will be darker because it'll be early in the morning. So let's go take a look at that and see what I got for the week. I found a lot of trash this week, so let's get to it. Okay, so I started off on Monday, and as you can see there, the Truly drinkers were back. I think they drink Sunday night. And then there's a lot of, well, not a lot, as you'll see later on in the week. Cigarette butts. There's a cool little hand. You see the arrow there, a little plastic hand that was kind of like peace or suck it or something. I don't know. And then some weird bracelets and various junk. And some to-go food containers. Tuesday was no better, as you see the to-go containers and beverage drinks and cigarette box and a large number of cigarette butts in that to-go container. And then again, the various bits of junk and stuff that fly out of people's windows and out of trash cans and such. No Wednesday, but Thursday, you see there, my cigarette butts are continuing. The beverage containers and different kind of whatnot, a tag for some clothing, and some receipts and some stuff. Again, I know some of this is just cars, sucks out of the car, but some of it's not. Once again, here's cigarette butts, various bits of foam, some to-go drink holders, and some various bits of plastic and metal and whatnot, and some weird little, look like tiny markers, but I can't tell exactly what it is. And then the day 6, we got different variances of stuff, cigarette boxes and to-go containers and lids and water bottle tops and beverages and some flyers coming, like flying out of the people's mailboxes and stuff like that. And then, of course, the cigarette butts. Not a lot that day. But then today, this morning, went on a new, or a different route, I should say, not new. And you can see all the cigarette butts and straws and to-go containers and vape boxes and stuff that I know aren't just inadvertently flying out of people's cars. They're being thrown. So sad. Okay, so that was Walking the Hood. So for those of you that are new, welcome. And don't be grossed out by all the trash I just said. There's still a lot more show to go. What I've been doing, for those of you who don't may not know, I have been walking my neighborhood in different ways, different routes, I should say, and then picking up the trash as I go. I got a little grabber now that I got from Amazon, and I have an old grocery bag that's like kind of a plastic cloth material type thing, so it won't fall apart. And I just go and I only use it for trash, ma. Don't worry. And I fill up uh, a bag as I go. It's never a full bag, but it gets pretty heavy by the time I finish, depending on what I found that day. So I'm going on, for those of you shouting out the different routes, I'm going off of Hickory, and I'm either going to El Salito and then going down El Salito heading towards Cypress Creek, or up El Salito heading towards 620, or I take Hickory around to Black Cherry, which goes to Red Bay, which can go to either Cat Claw Cove, or it can go to Texas Oak Way, or Mulberry Way, or Hepner, or Bryan Court, or Bryan Wood Court, or Bryan Wood, or Meadowlark, or Little Elm, or Hatch, or let's see what I've missed. Old Mill even. So it kind of those are all in my area that I can get to with a reasonable walking time. So I try to walk about 2 miles a day, at least 6 days a week. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on how much trash I'm finding that day. If I have to stop a lot and pick up the cigarette butts and or bigger pieces of junk and then throw them into the bag, it may take a little bit longer, so I didn't get to go. And what I'm doing most of the time is I'm timing myself, because if I'm going in the morning, I have to get back in time to log in for work, right? Because I'm working from home, so I can only get up so early. My body won't let me get up earlier. And I walk out a certain amount of time, and I walk back a certain amount of time, so that I still have time to freshen up before I log into work. If I'm commuting that week, then I'm doing it at night, and I'm trying to go as close to dusk as I can. So that means I can only go a certain amount of time out and a certain amount of time back, because then it becomes too dark, and I always forget a flashlight or a good light. And I have a really good light. It's pretty long, about that long, that I have in my truck. That's also could be used as a baton for protecting myself against the coyotes and wild boars and stuff that people have said that they've seen around here. I have not, but I need to do that. So that's what I've been doing. For those of you who are, again, that have first time watching the show, once again, welcome. But that's what this trash part is in the first. Now, some people are against it, saying, why don't you put the trash towards the end? But I know a lot of people in my neighborhood have been commenting and thanking me for doing what little I can get done. And I appreciate you and thank you. So you want to see what's there. I know I've been posting in next door. Sometimes they get blocked, sometimes they don't. This one might get blocked. My videos have been getting blocked lately. But if it doesn't, you know how to get a hold of me, and you can see what's out there. And maybe there's a street I'm missing. If there's a street I'm missing, let me know. If it's close to Hickory Drive, I will get out there and do it. Now, one lady did say, hey, how do you know that people aren't just junking up the road that you walk on? Well, the thing is, I don't go on the same route every day, and changes it up. In fact, there's only like 2 or 3 routes so far that I actually do on a semi-regular basis. The rest of the time, I'm just wandering. So it's got to be hard for them to be junking up the street just so that I can pick up their junk. I don't see it happening. So anyway, that's trash in the hood, or cleaning the hood, I should call it, but it is trashy hood. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about projects. So I got a couple of projects in this week. Like I said, I was working from home on Friday, so I was able to pick up some more concrete to continue working on the stepping stones, which is quite quite extensive, a lot more than I thought. So I'm trying to refigure if there's another way I can do something. I've gotten all the colored stepping stones that I want to get in. Those are done. But now I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I should just pour the concrete and have it go around the stepping stones that I've created, or if I should keep going with the stepping stones, but they're going to be just concrete color. Um, and then somebody was like, well, what about level? And I said, it's definitely not going to be level because it's coming angling down from the trunk. And so without me doing some bulldozering, which I didn't do, it's never going to be level. So I didn't expect it to be level. I just expected it to look interesting. So we'll see how that goes. So I got some of that done. I also did something interesting, which I'm really proud of. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's not harmful for the environment. In fact, I looked it up and it's all good. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about. All right, this is hopefully will be turn out good. This is my grass coating project. So here we go. And here you have it. This is a green lawn colorant, they call it, but it's basically just really thick green dye, food dye, with some nutrients in it. I did research and it is not an issue for insects or animals or pets or anything like that, because it's basically just food dye and Miracle-Gro. So it's supposed to protect the lawn a little bit better, and this is supposed to last 2 months, so we'll see. And there we go. I hope you like that little I was trying something new to see if I can get it to look like that, and it did. It did a pretty decent job. I was happy with it. So some parts are darker than the others. I started out a little bit extra ambitious, and I started running out at the end. So you can tell which L-shaped I did first because it's about 2 shades darker. So I also was, if you saw in the after shot, I actually was using a 2-gallon sprayer. And so the mixture is 6 to 9 ounces if you want it to be a lighter green, and 9 to 12 ounces if you want it to be darker. I was actually going somewhere between 12 and 14 because I was just kind of winging it, just kind of. Even though I had a measuring cup, I had 1 cup and it was supposed to be 1.5 cups of that colorant, and I was kind of eyeballing the half cup, and so some would be more, some would be less. And then by the end, I realized that I was running out, and so I had to wash out the container and pour that into the gallon sprayer. So, for those of you that don't know, gallon sprayers aren't the quickest and fastest way to do something. It's great if you're pinpointing the weeds. It's great if you're coloring dog urine spots, which this is predominantly used for. So if you have yellow spots in your yard, you can do that, and it adds some nutrients back to that soil and grass in that spot to help it grow back. Well, as you can see, I did my entire yard. And so it takes a lot. Without it being an industrial sprayer, which it was not, I got this at Lowe's, you have to be pretty close to the ground on that sprayer. It's got to be like right there in order for you to get either the color you want, or just to get the coverage you want, or to not have it mist out onto everything and then green up everything that you don't want. So it turned out to be pretty good though. This was a last minute project I did. I thought about it Thursday afternoon. I ordered the stuff Thursday night. It came in Friday morning, and I did it Friday afternoon. So it still looks good out there. I can see it from here. Of course, we haven't had any rain. We had a little drizzle this morning, and that was about it. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever done it to your yard, and if you'd like more information on what I used for my yard, then let me know. Maybe you have an industrial strength sprayer, so that it'll be easier and quicker for you. This took me about 2.5 hours of most of the time me bent over in half, if not more so, in order to get the spray coverage or non-coverage that I wanted. So anyway, okay, so we've got through the hood, we got through the projects. By the way, what about my garden, you asked? I'm glad you asked. So loofah's still going strong. I have some loofah now for sale, which I'll probably post on Nextdoor if they don't ban it, and on other places as well. Ready to go. It's been de-seeded. It's been peeled, shucked, however you want to call it, and it's ready to go. Um, and that's about it. No watermelons are growing, even though the vines are there and they're looking healthy. I'm just not getting anything out of there. I don't know if I need to perhaps add some more nutrients back to the soil and it's used up everything that it could, or it's just too hot and so it kind of went into hibernation. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. And then finally, I think we're going to go into our Zen. This is an interesting portrait that I saw somewhere, and I thought it'd be cool to have it as my Zen. Now, this is a free podcast. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not sponsored by anyone, so this is not something trying to push or promote this at all in any way, shape, or form. And for those of you who know why I just prefaced that, you know. So here's our Zen moment. You know, sometimes I think about the universe and what's out there. What are some of the amazing colors that we may see out there? Some that may not have ever been seen by our eyes before. We have our spectrum, but that's only because that's what can be seen here. Who knows that you can't see other colors in other places, and we're just getting to that now. So picture yourself floating through space and all the amazing things that you can see and will see, and all the colors as you float on by. The reds of the suns and the stars that you'll never get that close to, but you know that they're suns as well. The blues of a planet that has water and plant life that could be bringing you the blues and even some into the greens. And think about all that as you float through space. And perhaps we'll see each other there. Oh, hey, now let's go to the bottom line. So let's talk about memory. So there's many different generations now. Trust me, this will all tell you. Many generations now. You know, we can start with the greatest generation, which was the ones from WW2, as they're called, which is from 1922 to 1927, and then you have the post-war, which is 1928 to 1945. And then you have Boomers 1, which is from 46 to 54. Boomers 2, which is 55 to 64. And then where my siblings and I start, Generation X, which is 1965 to 1980. And then millennials start 1981 to 1996. Now sometimes they go back and forth between 80 and 81 as to when the millennials start. And then you have Generation Z, which is from 1997 to 2012. Now that's 10 years, so there's already another generation out there, which is from 2013 through today. So there's about, it looks like there's about 15 years between each. So it would be 2013 to 2027, which There's nothing that I found that even says what that generation would be, but they would be like from ages, basically from uh, 0 through 9 at this point. So the whole reason why I bring up generations is that every well, okay, before we even get into that, generations is just something that people came up with. This is not a true biological term as to a generation. We're all still just humans, all trying to live and get by, and it doesn't matter how old you are; they're all the same. What big commerce and big industries and the Hallmark people and everything got together at some point. Not a conspiracy, just it was done, and they started marking off generations. Now, when I was growing up in the 70s, a generation was considered 20 years, but as I'm looking at here, it really depends. World War II, they're looking at 5 years. Post-war, they're looking at 17 years, and then it goes boomers, actually, if you combine the boomers, it's 46 to 64, which is 18 years. So, what's the rule? I thought the rule was 20 years, and now it looks like they're not. It's like 15, like I just said. So, who's telling us what? So, basically, there are no variances in generations. There's just old people, older people, younger people, and youngest people. That's all there are, and we're all still people. So the point I'm trying to get at is that every so often, one layer of people that are around the same age, that grew up in the same decades, have a tendency to glamorize sometimes their memory of what happened during their time growing up. So we've all heard the stories about, when I was your age, I went to school up. I had to go uphill both ways in the middle of a winter storm every day, and I made it. So yes, it's a little over the top, and yes, everybody rolls their eyes when they hear it from somebody that's above them. Now, the problem, not the problem, the thing is, everybody's memory works differently. Memory works differently. Some people have fantastic memory and can remember minutia and very small, pertinent details of their lives. And then some of them, whole great swaths of memories are gone. I'm not talking about memory gone due to an illness or a surgery or due to, mental health decline, or mental decline and health decline and that sort of thing. That thing happens. We know that, and that's just sad but unfortunate that we lose our memory. And we all know that getting older, you have a tendency to drop off certain memories, especially when you were a child. But everyone's decade that they grew up saying from 4 to 5 years old till they were away from their parents, technically on average about 18, 19 years old. Everybody has seems to remember that time in their life differently. They have some great memories. I have great, fantastic memories with my best friends, Jerry and Mario and Michael, and we did some crazy stuff that I'm not going to mention here because it would just tick off my parents, and they would be shocked by some of the things that we did, and then they would laugh at other ones. But was it the best time? It was the best time for me. It was the best time for my friends, because that was the age that, for the most part, there was little to no, for all intents and purposes, let's just call it dark times. There was very little dark times. I mean, my uncle did pass during when I was young, and that was sad, but as a young child, you kind of brush that off. I mean, that's kind of what most people do with death. It's a part of life. That will be a different story, a different bottom line. But our memory works. In the happiest memories are the ones that we're going to remember the most. The saddest memories are the ones that we might remember as well, but we won't remember it that well. And it just helps us to heal. We still may remember it, and it still be dark, and it still may be in our face and everything, but it's also one that we don't want to remember as well. The happier times are the times that you remember very well. And so, and then we also have a tendency to exaggerate. We all do it. We all do it. Don't act like you don't. We all do it. It may have taken you 5 minutes to get to school, and all of a sudden it became 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, that's what you remember, that it took you 10 minutes to get to school walking. And your sibling or your best friend that walked with you was like, dude, it was like 5 minutes. It took like no time at all. And you start questioning your memory. Why did I remember it at 10 minutes? Because 10 minutes sounds better sometimes when you tell stories to individuals. Going uphill both ways, we know technically it's not possible. Unless you have, no, it's still not possible. Um, so you have to, it's just become something that people say. So memory plays tricks on us, or do we play tricks on memory? Because we'll remember things one way. I know there's things that I remember, and Brother Rob will be like, "That's not what happened," or I'll talk, and my sisters will be like, "That didn't happen." Oh, I just realized my eyeglasses were weird. That's not what happened, and so then it becomes he said, she said, he said, they said, we all said, and somehow the memory gets lost. So there's ways that you can work on your memory, and if you're already my age, it may be too late to improve it, but it also helps to talk to friends and family during the time that you did grow up and get a better perspective on what it is. So, and they may be of another generation. So the fact that we rag on other generations, it's just going to always happen, even though there is no such thing. Realistically, there's really nothing as generation gap anywhere. It's just things that we do, and why we do it, I don't know, but we all do it. And you'll find yourself saying, "Well, I never do that." And then you'll say something like, "Well, when I was your age, boom, when you were your age, there you are already trying to take it out of what happened and make it something that you remember, which you may not remember 100%. And it's okay not to remember 100%. But don't act like it didn't happen, and don't act like. And the bottom line is that we're all gonna do it. Your kids are gonna do it. Your grandkids are gonna do it, and if you have great grandkids, they're gonna do it. It's just what happens with us when it comes to our memory. But if we can remember that that's what we're doing, then maybe we'll understand each other a little bit better and try not to get as upset as we do sometimes when people say their things are tough and they're like 12 years old. That's the bottom line. Hey, so no spirit times today because I have something I'm a little excited about, and I hope the gentleman who made this suggestion for me will be as well. So 2 weeks ago I talked about sun tea. 3 weeks ago I talked about sun tea and the sun tea that I made, and did anybody else have any other suggestions? Well, Philip G, I'm not going to use his last name. Philip G actually commented about clove infused tea. So what he said he did was he got some tea and a container that you get tea in, which I'm not sure what that was, Philip. But what I did was I used my glass jar that I used to make tea in that has a dispenser at the bottom and all that. So and he made tea and added ground cloves to it. So I looked up, and ground cloves are really good for people's health, and so it's great to add it to tea, and it's highly recommended. So I said I'm gonna try out Philip's concoction, his take on sun tea, I should say. So I did. I got my container, which is about a gallon of water, fresh water. I added 6 tea bags. I'm using Louisiana tea. 6 bags, and then I added 2 teaspoons of ground clove. Now, maybe I shouldn't have added that much because I'm not overly familiar with cloves, except when I used to smoke them in high school. Yeah, Ma and Dad, yeah, you just found out I smoked cloves in high school. Um, so I haven't tried adding it to anything other than some, stuff for Thanksgiving, but I haven't tried it so that it was one of the main ingredients in something. So I went out. So yesterday I put all that into my glass sun tea container and I stuck it outside for about 5 hours. Got really dark and nice, and I poured some, and I tried it, and it was really strong on the cloves. So Philip, I probably should have gone less than 2 teaspoons on it, and teaspoons no less. But it's such a strong, striking flavor, aroma that you get, that it. Anyway, so I did all that and tried it out, stuck it in, or I added a little bit of sugar cubes to it and mixed it all together while it was still hot coming from outside and stuck it in the fridge. So I have been drinking it this morning, this afternoon by the time now. And Philip, I have to say, that was a really good concoction that you have. Your take on the sun tea with the cloves in it is really good. I may overdone it with the cloves, so I may cut back next time and just do 1 teaspoon instead of two. But I like the taste. I really like the taste. You get a little bit of the tea, a little bit of the cloves comes on a little bit strong. So what I did was, this is my second glass now. I know you can't really see it because it's blue, but I cut up oranges and dropped them in there, and it cut some of the strongness the strength of the cloves in the sun tea, and it's really good. Like, if I let it sit here for a while and let that orange soaking. By the way, I removed the rind, so I'm not getting that limonene, that really strong orange, because I didn't want to kill the taste of the clove, because I'm beginning to like it more and more. So I cut it out and added the orange in there. So now what I'll do at the end of the day, when I finish drinking, is I'll eat that orange. And it's just one whole orange. I cut it up, removed the rind, cut it into slices, and dropped it in there. So I really like it. It's one of the better sun tea suggestions that I've heard of in a long time. So thanks, Philip G, for that. So if you want to know, 1 gallon water, 6 tea bags, 1 teaspoon of cloves, and just set it and forget it out in the sun. Bring it back in, sweeten it to taste, or don't sweeten it at all, and you're gonna have some good tea. So this is Philip G's clove sun tea. Thanks a lot, Philip. Hey, okay, so there's our show for today. I want to thank everybody who's new. Welcome to Javier in the Air. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. It's a little bit longer by a few minutes. I try to keep it around 30 minutes. I do this almost every week. If not, I will let you know in advance if I skip or miss a week. Sometimes things come up, or special events come up, and I wind up having to do it a double one not a double one, but one the following week. So this is season 3, episode 29. If you haven't been enjoying Javier in the Air, please subscribe on my YouTube channel, and you can go back and look at all the different ones in the archives that I have. Always looking for people to interview for the show. Anything that they're passionate about, barring politics and religion. There's too much of that out there in the world. I don't need it in my show. If you're a musician, love to have you on and we can jam. I don't play, but I can jam by nodding my head and going, yeah. If you have a mom and pop business, I'd love to have you on the show and promote your items. If you cook or make your crafts from home, I can certainly have you come by and we can be out on the patio and we can interview you that way as well. If you have something you want to talk about, you want to be co-host for a day, let me know and I'll bring you on the show and we can do a co-hosting thing as well. So always looking to add more stuff and remove stuff that nobody wants to see, and continually changing. It's a continually changing show. So have a great Sunday. The rest of your Sunday, have a great week. I will be working from home, so I will probably be doing extra stuff around the house. If you see me out, if you live in the neighborhood and you see me out there walking, picking up trash, give me a shout out, a little toot toot, and just to say hey, and I'll wave at you with my grabbers, and it just makes it more fun for me. So, all right, everyone, have a good one, and I will see you all next week.